With every new device that OnePlus has launched since the 5T, OnePlus has made some major change to the screen and the 6T is no different. This is Sandeep from RevAtlas. Let's take a look at the screen and other aspects that have changed with the 6T. As I mentioned earlier, the screen is the most obvious difference compared to the predecessor. It's still great in terms of contrast and sunlight legibility owing to the optic AMOLED panel, but now it's bigger than before and also has a less intrusive notch. The teardrop notch coupled with the slightly physically smaller chin actually makes a big difference to the end user as the screen feels more expansive than the size difference seems on paper. The screen went from being a 6.2-inch 1080p panel with 19:9 aspect ratio to a 6.41-inch 1080p panel with 19.5:9 aspect ratio. Doesn't seem all that different on paper, but in real life the difference is very apparent. The notch can still be hidden as well in the settings if you find it an eyesore. The design is pretty much the same aesthetically and ergonomically speaking. It feels good to hold and use and is still slippery, so you'd be better off slapping a case on it. Speaking of which, we love the reviewer's kit that we got. It has the OnePlus 6T retail package as well as an introductory note, a reviewer's guide, Type-C bullet earphones, 3 cases, a sandstone, nylon and a silicone case, has everything you'd need to do a proper review really. The phone is slightly larger than the 6 it replaces, but it's not large enough that you'll notice unless you compare them side by side. The glass version also gets updated to Gorilla Glass 6. The other major difference is the shifting of the fingerprint scanner from the back portion below the camera back to the front. No, it isn't located below the display. Well, not below in the traditional sense at least, but is rather now an in-display scanner similar to what you've been seeing on Vivo phones. I still at times try to touch the back portion expecting the scanner to be there, but it isn't. The scanner is now much faster than the ones we have seen on the V11 Pro and the Vivo Nex, but still is slower than the ceramic scanners of the previous OnePlus devices. While an in-display solution is pretty great for bragging rights and looks cool, whether it was needed or not is still debatable. That brings me to another change. There's no headphone jack this time around and you have to make do with the Type-C port at the bottom for wired audio. OnePlus states that the extra space taken by the in-display fingerprint scanner and the larger battery, which we shall also talk about soon, felt like a fair trade-off that warranted the removal of the audio jack. Oh, we have the face unlock by the way, which is still perhaps one of the fastest, if not the fastest around, but it relies on just the front camera and no fancy IR stuff just yet. The 6T is powered by a Snapdragon 845 chipset from Qualcomm and has dual nano SIM support but no scope for memory expansion still. But then again, why would you need it considering that the base storage now starts at 128 gigs? You can get 6 plus 128, 8 plus 128 and 8 plus 256 GB options. Storage is UFS 2.1 and RAM is LPDDR4X. The phone is running on Android 9 Pie with Oxygen OS on top and it supports Project Treble, seamless updates, camera to API as well as L1 wideband for support for HD streaming on Netflix and Prime. The camera setup remains unchanged in terms of hardware. 16MP f1.7 Sony IMX519 with 1.22 micron pixel size and OIS, while the secondary unit is a Sony IMX376K with 20MP of resolution, 1 micron pixel size and similar f1.7 aperture. The front camera is a Sony IMX371 with f2 aperture, 16MP resolution and 1 micron pixel size. But perhaps the most important update for the cameras are on the software front with the addition of a nightscape mode. We'll try nightscape and other aspects of the camera in depth soon, but these samples will show you what to expect. The phone also packs in a larger 3700 mAh battery which could possibly be a poker effect as the F1 packs a 4000 mAh battery. As a result, the 6T is also a bit thicker than the 6. We'll need to test it in depth to see how much juice we can get from the larger battery, but it will definitely help considering the capacity has been increased and you still have dash charging which is extremely fast. Overall, the OnePlus 6T follows a very similar formula to its predecessors but does better what it got right while fixing some other issues. The lack of a headphone jack might be the only negative point from what I can tell so far, but I'll wait for the review to pass a final judgment. Thanks for watching this video, see you again in the next one.